Oh man. All right. On here. Okay. Whoops. I'm running late, folks. My apologies. I am really dropping the ball here. Can everybody hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me because I had some sound issues. And I'm also here it is. Here it is. Yes. All right. Yes. Okay. My apologies. I am behind. That's on me. I'm glad you guys can hear me because I had to do a complete system reboot. I had to completely wipe my computer clean, go to factory settings, and my speakers still do not work. The sound's coming through my monitor, and there is no speaker. So as of right now, I have nothing sound-wise. So I'm glad that you guys are able to hear me. I apologize for being late. I had a really bad week, terrible Super Bowl. I've never lost a Super Bowl before. Never lost a Super Bowl before. The good news is that I knew when Andy Reid called those timeouts, I knew the game was over. So somebody asked, did you cry during the Super Bowl? I was like, no, because I knew at halftime. I knew at halftime it was over. I knew then and there. Yeah, it was. I wasn't surprised. If Mike's here, I've seen some comments. And congratulations, Mike took Tampa in 3. Hopefully, more of you collected. I actually tried to put money on Mahomes under 330 because I was expecting it to be the reciprocal of what happened. I was expecting Kansas City to have a big victory. I wasn't even nervous. I was like, it's going to be a victory. Okay, it started off slow, but Chiefs are going to win. And then after those timeouts, I was like, no. But I tried to get action on under 330 passing yards for Mahomes, and it didn't happen. The reason why it didn't happen is my bookie turned out to be that all gambling websites about 20 minutes to the Super Bowl, all of them, every single one apparently shut down. So I wasn't able to put that bet down. I used that money when the score was 14-3 on Kansas City winning, and it didn't happen. So, yeah. So, man, let's get to the comments here. Admiral Milwaukee is awesome. All right. James in One Pride 40. Welcome. If Funk's here, I shared with Funk. Some Redskins guy who's starting a Redskins football channel did a mock draft with the Redskins trading the 19th, and I think it's the 128th, their 4th round draft pick, to Detroit for their first. So the 19th and the 128th for your 7th round pick. And he's sitting here like, well, PFF tool, the PFF draft simulator allowed it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You're actually trying to be a legitimate football source, and you think a 1st and a 4th is worth going up 12 spots in the 1st round. I unfollowed. I do not have the tolerance for that type of stupidity after watching the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl and losing all my prop bets. So, and it's single degrees outside. I know it's single degrees where Mike's at also. So there's nothing good happening right now in Houston. I just want baseball to start. Man, Alex, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm sorry, dude. I know it's a tough day, but the one thing I will say is that when all the Watson news came out, I'm like, Watson's not going anywhere. Watt's probably going to go somewhere, not Sean Watson. I thought it was really cool that the Houston organization just said, hey, we won't play hardball with you. You want to go, you want to go. The Chiefs organization, as a matter of fact, same type of situation with Tony Gonzalez. And they ended up trading Tony Gonzalez for a 2nd round pick. And he was, I want to say 36. And I remember thinking, wow, and he wasn't going to play. Chiefs ended up, but they did say, where do you want to go? And Atlanta was a good fit for him and everything like that. So, I thought it was really classy of the Houston franchise because they could have gotten, what's Watt's value? I'd say a minimum of a 3rd. And let's face it, the Houston Texans need draft picks. So for them to just say, hey, listen, you're the greatest player, and that's debatable, but I think he's the greatest player in the history of the Houston Texans. So for them to say, hey, listen, we'll just part ways, and when you retire, your number's going to be retired. You're going to be in the Ring of Honor. You're going to be the first one. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't even know if you have a Ring of Honor. I know Cincinnati Bengals are instituting a Ring of Honor, and I put in there that Sam White deserves to be on there just for the phrase, you don't live in Cleveland. That alone should get him in there. If there's any Chiefs fans, Carl Peterson, the owner, general manager, president, CEO of the Kansas City, ran the whole organization for over 20 years, didn't win a Super Bowl, but he should be in the Chiefs Ring of Honor, and he's still not. He ended on a bad note, but the Chiefs are a terrible franchise. They were the winningest franchise in the 90s. Of course, didn't win a Super Bowl under Marty. Marty Schottenheimer passed away, which was crushing. I loved Marty, but Alzheimer's is a terrible thing. And he was battling it since, I want to say 2014. So, James, what's up, man? It probably is warmer in Houston than it is. It's single digits here. It's been single digits since the Super Bowl. Like, it's been great. Today's the first day we've seen sun since the Super Bowl, but it's been single digits, gray, except for today there's sun. Just miserable time to be in Kansas City. It's like Chiefs lose Super Bowl, single digits, Marty Schottenheimer dies. A columnist who left Kansas City Star to work for Yahoo, member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting committee, Trez Paler, also passed away. He was like 39. When it first happened, I was like in shock. So it's been bad. If you're in Kansas City, it's been a terrible, terrible time, man. Mike is going to wow. They play in. It's going to sound really dumb. I know they play in Boca Raton. Is that it? Is that it? I've heard FAU is awesome. I've heard it's awesome. The company I currently work for has a knock in Tampa Bay, and if a position opens up, I would actually move there. I have no idea what it's like, but I did some checking. Turns out to be the cost of living is not too much more. Plus, there's no state tax in Florida. So after the single digit weather I'm gonna, I have to wait like 6-9 months. So, but that's awesome. That I didn't know they were doing college baseball this early. I'm so ignorant. All I know is football. I know is football, man. So. Thank you, guys. I was really worried about the noise because my speakers still don't work. So, yeah, tonight's going to. I hope so, man. I'm not. I've been like I spent 8 hours, probably a total of 4 because I left and went to the gym. Ever since my computer just died, I was frustrated. I slammed an energy drink earlier today. And now I'm drinking coffee. If I can get my speakers to work and everything, you guys are telling me it sounds fine. I may start my draft videos this weekend and have the Jets released Monday. Maybe. I'm probably going to postpone it at least a week, but I'm going to do a lot of draft videos, and I really wanted to start Monday, but when my computer died, it deleted so many things. I'm writing a book. It deleted a book. I have all my tax info, deleted all that. It was terrible. Yeah. This is a shitty week, man, but I hope, man, Denver Gator, I hope to go ahead and bring some fire to you. As a matter of fact, it was funny. One of the guys you follow, some Denver journalist, talked about the left tackle, and I'm forgetting his name, for Virginia Tech. And he's like, what would you feel if they drafted this guy? And I'm like, you just gave Bowles all that money. And this dipshit responds, oh, they're not going to play left tackle at the same time. Really? So I didn't even follow this guy to begin with. and I just muted him. My tolerance for stupid draft comments are an all-time low, and this doesn't mean you have to disagree with me. Matter of fact, my boy Funk, I see him in the chat. Last year, me and Funk went back and forth, but there wasn't any disrespect because what he was saying made sense. And I'd like to think that what I was saying made sense to Funk, but we were different. And then Funk came up with the all-time greatest line. He goes, "Isn't it great that two guys can disagree about sports and one guy's not calling the other guy names?" Well, the guy who proposed a first and a fourth rounder to Detroit for the Redskins are picking 19th, by the way. Detroit's picking 7th. To go up 12 spots in the first round for a fourth round pick, and you're claiming to have actual football knowledge, that's not going to fly here. I'm not going to allow that much stupidity. Now, if you come on the show and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm not a big, I'm not a huge football fan. I just want to talk. I'm a fan of the Panthers, Falcons, Seattle. I don't think I have a Seahawks fan here. And you're not that big of an expert, that's fine. But when you're in a claim to know what you're talking about and you say something so stupid, I don't have time. I don't have patience, especially after watching my Chiefs lose the Super Bowl. So, hell yeah. Well, yeah, one Pride 40 reach and ran the ball. The problem was the offensive line. We had a Pro Bowl left tackle, and if you hear me talk, you should know that left tackle is the second most important position on a football team. We had a Pro Bowl left tackle. Late in the game against Buffalo, he ruptured his Achilles tendon. Probably ended his career here in Kansas City because he's due to make a lot of money, and because we gave Mahomes $1 jillion, we have to make some cuts. And we drafted a tackle in the third round this year who's probably his replacement. So we had to do a lot of shuffling of the offensive line. So I knew that once we were down 21-6, we'd have to throw the ball against a really good front seven. That Tampa Bay front seven's maybe one of the top, if not the top front seven. Devin White's, as far as I'm concerned, best middle linebacker in football. That dude's amazing. He actually, I remember he chased CEH from behind. I'm like, oh my God. I remember he was drafted 5th overall, and I'm like, is he really worth that much? Maybe they're reaching. No, he's worth it. It's hard to be a middle linebacker and go 5th overall, but he's worth it. He's that good. I think he's the best middle linebacker in football. If you disagree, I'd hear your arguments, but that dude's good. I mean, he runs down receivers. I mean, and the funny thing is, a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans think, well, Vontae David's the best middle linebacker on the team. I don't think so, but those two linebackers, phenomenal. Great pass rushers on the outside. You have Sue, who should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Vita Veda, a really good player. He was injured most of the season. He came back late, fresh, really, really athletic for being like 340. So, yeah, that front seven against a banged up Chiefs offensive line, they weren't able to run the ball. Tampa Bay is the number one run defense, but they have some holes in their secondary. But towards the end of the year, secondary kept on getting better and better and better. I think both teams at their best, Kansas City's easily better. But I also said that this reminds me a lot of the Green Bay teams that only won one Super Bowl. The 15-1 team that lost in the playoffs, they had Aaron Rodgers. He was MVP. They had a good, not great defense. They had some great players, but they didn't have a good defense. Very similar to Kansas City. Rodgers only won one Super Bowl. So if somebody told me, hey, the Chiefs are never going back to the Super Bowl while Mahomes is in Kansas City, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. Mike, I'm stealing this from you. If you had to give me a Super Bowl prediction today, I got Bucks and Bills. I think it's much more likely Tampa Bay will repeat than Kansas City. So, yeah, man. The one thing I will say, Alex, is that J.J. Watt played every single game as a starter for which was, I think, statistically the worst ranked defense in the NFL. So, I mean, I know it's a jerk thing to say, but I mean, it's a sad day, but he's not the player he was 5 years ago. He's not the best defensive lineman in football. And don't give me this, well, PFF says I don't care what PFF says. I watched him play, and he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but you're not losing the same. I mean, there's a 3-year stretch. I don't think any defensive lineman played that good ever. Maybe. I mean, 20 sacks, batting down passes, stuffing the run. I mean, I can honestly say, I mean, how many defensive linemen get 20 sacks? How many 5 techniques get 20 sacks? None. who name a 5 technique who gets 20 sacks in a season? There's one player. That's J.J. Watt. Is he doing that now? No. So, Chris, what's up, brother? Man, I'm glad you're here, Chris. I'm going. Hopefully, you're okay with this. Chris informed me Patrick Mahomes' surgery went well because he was out, and Patrick Mahomes was at. I was out on town. Chris saw him. He called me. He's like, "Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. He's got one of those little scooters you put your foot up on, and it's really cool." Chris is a high roller. So he hangs out with NFL players and stuff because Chris Clegg is that much of a pimp. So okay. The first One Pride 40, it's stupid. It'll never happen. The one thing I can promise you is that the Detroit Lions are never going to get a phone call from the Washington Redskins and say, yeah, we'll go down to 19 for a 4th. That will never, ever, 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 ever happen. I thought it was going to be a first in 2022, a first round pick next year. But it'll never happen. Funk, man, it's been a bad day, man. But I'm so happy to be on the show. I'm so happy to talk football. I've been looking forward to doing this all week, man. This is something that it's funny because it's not anything that does anything special for my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I think I made somebody mad. I actually lost a subscriber. I've been at 603 for a long time. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And also because I'm only looking at StreamYard, I don't even have YouTube up. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. I have no idea. I may have 15,000 thumbs down. I have no clue. I'm going to drink coffee. I am jacked up today, man. I am jacked up. I am very jacked up, man. I'm so excited just to talk football. I don't care what fan you're a team of. I can talk football with all 32 franchises. Hopefully the draft content will come out next week, and then we can just start talking a ton of draft stuff. Without a combine, it's going to be a little more difficult. Matter of fact, there's a good pro day happening today, and I forget I want to say Clemson today. So I'm sorry, but the Texans are a train wreck. Actually, they're not as bad as you think because losing Watt is not as important as losing Watson. It's really not. You're getting a guy who was a starter on the worst defense in the league. He played 10 years. He had a 5-year stretch, actually 3 years where he was maybe the best defensive lineman ever, but his first 5 years was phenomenal. Then he missed a year. He came back. He's not the same guy. He's not the same guy he was 5 years ago. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying he's not the same guy. When you're in year 10 in the NFL, it's not going to be the same when you're in year 5, especially that type of player. I don't care what he says either. He doesn't have the same level of motivation. He really doesn't. He knows he's looking at the bottom line. Out of respect for Alex, if you want me to, I can give you a list of teams that I think he's going to. But Alex put on Twitter, can you just give me a day, and I'll give you a day. But if you want me to, I have a surprise team. I think that he'll go to. I have a surprise team. If Lance is there, you take him at, and you're assuming he's going to be there at 7. I think he is. And by the way, I already have my mock draft in my mind. The question starts at 5. The first 4 players I got, ding, 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 and that's easy. Cincinnati's a team that can go in a couple different directions. Detroit, do you go Lance, or do you go best player available, or do you go front 7? because I think those are three different questions. And my question is, are they going to take Lance or are they going to take somebody else? I like Surtain. I went on the Luke G show. I know you did because you saw it. Luke G gives me some love, so I give Luke G some love. Me and Luke G completely opposite ends of the spectrum. I have a man crush on Patrick Surtain, and I think he'd be great in Detroit. And you got some other corner who's got like 50 letters in his name, Ogudge, something or other. I think he's just the guy. So that's why I would take the best player available. Now, if there's a defensive lineman, a defensive end who's worth a top 10 pick, you obviously take him, but I don't see any pass rushers available. The linebacker out of Notre Dame, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. You could take him at 7. The only way you take him at 7 is he aces his pro day. Because I heard he's going to be like 250. He's going to be 5'11", 215, 220, and he's going to run in 4. If he's like 235 and runs under 4.5, then you take him at 7. The Notre Dame linebacker. So the only thing I can do is whichever team gets him wins ring for the beautiful bastard. I mean, J.J. Watt's a great player. I've always been like J.J. Watt. I always liked J.J. Watt. Great player. That the year that Hard Knocks went to Houston, they spent a lot of time with J.J. Watt. And he seems like a great guy. I mean, I'm going to cheer for J.J. Watt, but you're not getting the same J.J. Watt. You're not all of a sudden adding the greatest defensive line, the greatest 5 technique. Now, Reggie White was also a 5 technique for like the first year or two in his career, but is it a fair argument to say J.J. Watt or Reggie White? How do they compare? Yeah, that's fair. Seriously, J.J. Watt was that good. Are you getting somebody at that caliber? No, you're not. You're getting a guy who started for the worst defense in the NFL. He's a good player. He could be used in a 4-3. I think he's better used in a 3-4. You can call me Funk says I want Watt to go to Pittsburgh. I saw something where he does not want to go to Pittsburgh. I saw something that says he doesn't want to go because his brother, he just doesn't want to. But that was the first thing that I thought of. But after seeing that, I think he's going somewhere else. I do too. I like Lance too. I like Lance if he doesn't have to start day one. But I think every quarterback who's not named Trevor Lawrence, not Tannehill. I'm going to call him Tannehill again. I mean, let's face it. But anybody who's not Trevor Lawrence, I don't want to start day one. Whoever the Jets takes probably starting day one. So, all right. Sorry. I'm way behind here, man. I want to rant. Definitely not rooting for the Texans for a while. Maybe we'll root for Tampa. Always like the team. Hey, listen to me. Don't give up on the Texans yet. You're going to get Deshaun Watson. The defense is going to be good. You have a lot of good players. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think once football season comes around, you'll be excited for Houston Texans. But Tampa Bay is a team that has a really young, very good defense. There's a lot of things to like about Tampa Bay. It's funny because I don't have the numbers. I did start the spreadsheet, and then of course I had to delete. The numbers are already out for 1 through 32. The odds to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City's number 1 with plus 450. Tampa's 4th, I believe, at plus 1,100, which means that $100 will win you 1,100. I might have flipped them. I actually think that Tampa would be my number 1 team. My number 2 team would be Buffalo. Right now, today, I forget who number 3 was, but I think it was. God, I'm drawing a blank. But yeah. By the way, barring injuries, I see no, Mike. I 100% agree with you here. I mean, that front seven's as good as any front seven. Here's the question: is Sue coming back? That's a big question because Sue's a guy who could leave. He could retire. That's a big question. I mean, he'll be 37. I mean, it's long. He's an older dude. I mean, that's a dominant player. One of the reasons you have the best run defense is a large part due to Dominican Sue. Vita Veda, does he come back? Is he healthy? JPP is, I want to say 31. Can he have another Pro Bowl season? Levante David's a free agent and asking to be the NFL's highest paid linebacker. And that's going to be hard because who's better, Devin White or Levante David? To me, it's Devin White. So if you give Levante David a ton of money, you're going to have to give White more. So that's a big issue. More than likely, Levante David's going to leave in free agency. So that would be a big thing. If you're able to keep Levante David, they'll be my number one team, come this season. But the team that I think you'd get the best value for is plus 7,500. They're towards the bottom would be the Giants, a team that, they're going to get Saquon Barkley back. They add a pass rusher that defense is maybe top 5, and they get their best player coming back from injury. So if you just want to take a long shot, I would take the Giants. That number is going to go up. It may have already gone up. So Chiefs, a terrible organization. Absolutely. No, Chiefs have an excellent organization. I'm a fan. So I'm a fan. So I can't say anything bad about the Chiefs. Well, I mean, I can, but as far as being a well-run organization, Chiefs have one of the best run organizations in the National Football League. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. It's single digits there too, man. Denver Gator. We should get a play. We should go to Vegas, get a place there, start banging hot 20-year-olds. Unless you're already married or something, then I won't tell if you won't. I don't want, if you're married, I don't want your wife kicking my ass because, I'm covering for you. So, yeah, right now, it's not as bad as, I want to emphasize, Houston, that losing Watt is not as bad as losing Watson. And you're not losing Watson. This was a team that won a playoff game last year and has almost the whole team coming back. There was a lot of good talent on that defense. You're missing a number 1 wide receiver. David Johnson's not the answer. I don't know if he's coming back or not. But if he is, I mean, at one point in time, he was best running back in football. So, yeah, Tampa's the place to be, man. It was actually funny. I was in a meeting, and there was a few people from Tampa, and they were talking about how awesome it was there. And, yeah, maybe I need to, Tampa Bay sounds really cool right now. After seeing the Tom Brady throw the Lombardi Trophy in the boat ride, and I'm like, man, I could be on a boat right now. Instead, I'm stuck in 7-degree weather. Texans still better than the boys. I don't know about the Cowboys are going to be good next year. I hate to say that, but Boca. Never been there. I've driven through Florida. I haven't spent any time there, but if I get a job offer in Tampa, Mike, I'm going to blow up you and Pete and be like, help me out here. What do I need to do? But yeah. Actually, Tampa didn't win the World Series. They lost to the Dodgers. They only made an appearance. You're 100% AB. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew this on a national level. It came out later, but 2 days before the Super Bowl, Andy Reid's son, who was the defensive line coach, was involved in alcohol was present, an automobile accident that put a 5-year-old in the ER. It looks like she's going to live, but a 5-year-old girl was injured in a car accident with Britt Reid. And I kind of think that had a large effect on Andy Reid. Because I remember when time stopped at the end of the first half, there was like 47 seconds. I'm like, what? Why time stop? And I'm throwing a fit, and it's like Chiefs called timeout, and I'm like, what? And that made me think that Andy Reid just wasn't in the right frame of mind. So. Yeah, I want to tell you Monday, but I have to fix this computer issue. If you guys are telling me sounds good, I might be able to start making videos right now. I don't have a way to listen to the sound, so that's the problem I'm having. So yeah, Golden Rooster, what is up, brother? Man, I know for a fact I think you live in Atlanta. I know you're a Falcons fan. I know for a fact it's not 7 degrees there. My boy Boofa, due to Chiefs maker, the answer is no. He's going to cost too much money, and even though he can play in a 4-3, I think he's going to go to a 3-4 team. I think he's going to go to a 4-3 team. Darasol, a dog. I'm drawing a blank. I know the name. I'm sorry. If you can give me like the school that he went to, and we went back and you made the right move. I think. I think you made the right move in Campbell. I think you made a great move in Campbell. I really do. I really do. I actually, to tell you the truth, the thing I liked least about the Detroit Lions was auctioning Stafford. I think you should have kept it quiet. And what happened is they got 2 number ones and a third when I thought they were just going to get a third. So everything. I honestly think that today, right now, the team that had the best off season is the Detroit Lions. Oh, really? I muted the dude. I muted the guy right after he said that because I was like, why would you draft a guy on the left side? And then when he gave me that snarky response, I'm like, I mean, you have to realize I'm still mad at losing a Super Bowl. You can understand. That wasn't a shot. That wasn't an insult. I'm just you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm not happy. And the guy goes, I mean, me personally, offensive line, except for right side, that's not an issue you have to worry about. You gave Bowles all that money. Risner's solid. Cushenberry's really good. I forget who your other guard is. Actually, no, wait a minute. Never mind. He's gone to Carolina. Your Paladis, something like that. He was in Carolina. My mistake. Cushenberry was guard, moved over to center, if I remember right. But your offensive line's fine. Your offensive line's fine. You need help in the secondary. That's probably a lot of draft stuff to go. But spoiler alert, I think Denver's going to take a secondary guy. And you have to. Look at your division. Look at your division. Look who you're trying to keep up with. Yeah, they scored 9 in the Super Bowl, but, I mean, in the regular season, it was a different story. So, all Houston is mourning right now. We lost one of the greatest historians ever. It's going to suck, man. I know it's going to suck, but let me give you the flip side. How good was your defense last year? It wasn't. You're going to get a guy. Mark my words, you're going to get somebody who's going to give you almost the same level of production at a tiny fraction of the cost. I'm telling you right now, the Houston Texans are going to be a lot better than you think. And when I start breaking down the over-unders, I'm going to be really excited to break down the Houston Texans because I think that number could be like at 4.5 or 5. And I think that team's going to be a lot closer to an 800 team. I may do the same thing, even though I got burnt on them last year because I bet over 7.5 wins. I may bet on Houston this year and collect. So you may want to trade up to 7. You have to give up. Exactly. I thought it was a 1 and a 4 and then a 1 next year. But this guy, and his response was, he had this long-winded response, but it started off with, because he was using the PFF draft simulator, and I was like, no, I just mute, just gone. I unfollow. It was on Instagram. But I've been looking at a ton of mock drafts. I'm ready to start making the videos. I was planning on doing it Monday, but then when my computer died, now I might postpone. I want to start on a Monday and go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In the past, I've done Monday through Friday, 5 videos, 5 days, but I want to start early, and then I have to do a lot of retraction videos, and then I'll put an extra retraction video. And then right before the draft, I may have to go to do one every day, but that's kind of the plan I have. There's this much of a possibility I may release the video Monday because I already know who the first. Okay, when I say first 4 picks, I'm going to start at 2. Okay, I'm starting at 2. So 2, 3, and 4, I already got down. Detroit, I can go a couple, or I'm sorry, Cincinnati at 5, I can go a couple different ways. Philly, I pretty much know who Philly's going to take. Same thing with Detroit. And in the video, I'm going to break down, well, Detroit can do this, and then Detroit can do, and give me some feedback once I start doing the videos. If you, yeah. Sorry, you could have had Superman at left tackle, and you still, I don't know, man, because what you have to realize is that we moved our right tackle, who was a guard, over to left tackle, and it just changed everything. But I will say this: 2 years ago, Kansas City was at one point 6-4, and won the last 6. And those last 6 games, they played lights out. Tampa Bay was 7-5, and then won the last 4 and start playing really good. That front 7 is really good. That front 7 is really good. That's the strength of the team. A lot of people want to say, well, Tom Brady's the GOAT. And it's like, did you see that defense? Are you watching Devin White? I mean, this dude's running down. I mean, this dude runs like a wide receiver at like 240, 245. I mean, that dude's a monster. The biggest thing you have to deal with is Levante David. Can you pay him enough? Because I don't think you can. So do you have to draft somebody to replace him? Can you free agent? Do you change your defense up enough that do you put like maybe a safety in the box? I don't know. I mean, you can get kind of creative there, but the Levante David's a good thing. If Levante David comes back, then Tampa Bay is my favorite to repeat. Easy way to repeat. But it's an older team. I mean, you got Sue. Gronk's not going to enter the season 100%. Brady's going to be 44. But as the season went on, Brady really seemed to adapt. Leonard Fournette's a key. I think Leonard Fournette really means a lot to that team. Didn't do much in regular season, but in playoff time, very key. Leonard Fournette's key. White is good right now, but I think Leonard is I can't argue that because I love Leonard. I forgot about Leonard for a minute. They're asked to do different things. They are asked to do different things. I can't tell you you're wrong. I can't tell you you're wrong. Leonard wouldn't thrive in Tampa because Leonard actually dropped weight. He played at 215. He says, I'm comfortable playing at 215. And he played awesome at 215. Could he play in a 3-4 defense at 215? No. Could White come to Indianapolis and play in that 4-3? The answer is yes. Could he play as well? That's debatable. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to say, but I mean, you're not wrong. White was instrumental in a team winning a Super Bowl. Leonard was instrumental in a team. Seriously, they're probably 15 seconds away from beating Buffalo. I thought in the AFC, the team that had the best chance to beat the Chiefs was Indianapolis. So I can't tell you you're wrong. I don't know if I believe that, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I think JJ in Green Bay will be the perfect circle, career-ending destination. I like the location. I don't like the defensive scheme, but Mike Pettit's gone, so I don't even know who Green Bay's new defensive coordinator is. But they ran they do run a 3-4. That's not the place I think he's going, but that's a good spot. That's a great spot, as a matter of fact. So I can't tell you. That's not the team I had in mind, but now that you put it in my head, it sounds really good. I mean, Wisconsin native, it makes a lot of sense. You know what? You may have convinced me. You may have changed my mind. You might have changed my mind, but I think there's somewhere else he's going to end up. Hopefully the Panthers trade back and take Mac Jones, and I'm not huge on Jones, but apparently Carolina is. That's very interesting because Carolina picks 4th, and I think they're going to get one of the big 4. And the big 4 is, well, actually, let's rephrase. Let's call it big 3 because Trevor Lawrence is going 1. So you get Kyle Wilson, Trey Lance, or the Ohio State quarterback. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. Here's the deal. If you look at what he did at Baylor, he had mobile running quarterbacks at Baylor. Actually, I remember the last game he had at Baylor, he put in like a second string guy, and then he played bad. He put in a third string guy, but all of them were pretty mobile guys. I don't think he had a guy like Mac Jones at Baylor. So I'm thinking that he wants a guy to run more of a college style offense. I could be wrong about this. I have to watch some old Baylor film, but I think he wants a guy who can do more of a college style offense. I think he wants a guy that can both run and pass. And I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields would be the guy. I think that's a smoke screen about Mac Jones. I think Justin Fields is the guy he really wants. Kyle Wilson would also be a guy. I think at 4, unless they trade back, I think they're going to draft either Wilson or Fields there. He could go with Lance as well, but to me, Lance is number 4. But if they do trade back, which would make a lot of sense, they could take Mac Jones. San Francisco, if they don't get a quarterback in free agency, they could go from 12 to 4 very easily. I've seen several mock drafts where they leapfrog Carolina to number 3. The question is Miami. The problem the Panthers have is Miami picks 3rd and 18th, and they don't want a quarterback. They're going to throw out smoke signals that they want a quarterback, but they don't. What is somebody going to give Miami for 3? That's going to be the big question. But and when I do my video on Miami, I'm going to talk about this in depth. But ultimately, Miami's going to want to trade that pick, and they probably would take lesser value than most people would because they already pick at 18th and they have a very young team. So that's something that that's going to come into play. Who's going to leapfrog Carolina? Because Carolina could easily just say, let's say they get their quarterback. The guy, let's say the Jets take the guy that they're not looking at. Because bottom line, you're either going to, if you're the Jets, you're probably going to take a quarterback. If you're Carolina, do you get that guy that they don't want? Is that your guy? But let's say they love Mac Jones. Let's say they love Mac Jones. The team that trades up to 3, what are they going to be able to get at 4? That's a big question. Because what you might have to do is if you like Mac Jones, you may have to pick the best player available at 4, which would probably be a receiver, maybe Kyle Pitts, and then try to trade back up into the first round to take Mac Jones. And the team I would circle would be the Redskins at 17. You have to jump up before 17, so you have to give up a lot. So that's a lot. These are a lot of great draft questions. You guys can do better. One Pride 40 does not like Mac Jones. Mac Jones was mean to One Pride 40 before, and so yeah, I know you don't like Mac Jones. I know you don't, and you're not alone. You're not alone. I think some teams think he's a first-round quarterback, and I think some teams look at him as a 5th. I think Mac Jones is one of those guys that's going to be all over the place. Do I think he will go in the first round? The answer is yes. Do I want him in the first round? No. Texans hired James Campen for offensive line coach, and I'm good with it. He has had consistent top 10 lines most teams he's coached. Man, I'm telling you, listen, do not give up on your Houston Texans yet, Alex. There's a lot of good. You're gonna have a better team. I think the Houston Texans are going to be a lot better than people think. Rodgers won with a young Matthews and Charles. Yeah, And that's what Kansas City did. They had Honey Badger play at a high level, Frank Clark play at a high level, Chris Jones play at a high level, and then the rest of the guys were just really guys. This will be Honey Badger's last year in Kansas City. He probably will cost too much, and that'll suck because I love Honey Badger. But yeah, that's probably your best. Lots of pieces. All right. Most of the time he's had bad O-lines. He's had terrible players. Texans. No, yeah, dude. Listen to me, man. The Houston Texans are a lot better than most people are going to give them credit for. That division's tough because the Titans are good, the Colts are good, and the Jaguars are going to be a lot better. And they're going to be better fast. So I'm hoping the Broncos make a push for right tackle Villanova. I thought he was left tackle, but no, actually that would be a great spot. If you Jawan James is still under contract, correct? That's the question I have to ask because I remember Denver Broncos gave him $16 million a year, and I'm like, why? But right tackle, I would recommend. See, here's what that guy didn't understand. I don't have a problem with the Broncos drafting a right tackle. You don't take one at 9. You don't take one at 9 when you're in a division with Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Derek Carr. You want to debate how good Carr is. That's fine. But ultimately, you're chasing the Kansas City Chiefs, which have one of the all-time great offenses. You don't do it with question marks in your secondary when you pick at 9. You just don't. Now, if you fix it in free agency, okay. But are you really going to tell me that that's the position you want to draft at 9? No. If you're dead set on taking a tackle, you trade down. And this draft, by the way, has a lot of really good tackles. So you absolutely – if the Denver Broncos take a tackle at 9, I will literally bust out laughing. 100% bust out laughing. I'm just going to call you AL. I can't do – I don't know what the name is. It's awesome, though. True, but I would rather take Jones and trade back than stay and take Fields if he falls. I don't like Fields at all. No, hey, listen, you are not alone, and you are not alone. I think 4 would actually be a little high for Fields. I think 4 is high for Fields and Lance. I really believe that. But it wouldn't surprise me if 1 or 2 of them go in the top 5. So if that's the case, then yeah, you just have to find a trade partner. Do the Redskins have enough trade capital to go from 17 to 4? If that's what they want to do. Would they give you a player? That would be interesting. And and the guy that I think you would take would be what's his name? The outside linebacker from Purdue. I can't believe I can't forget his name. But yeah, you would probably trade a player and a draft pick. Washington would be a team. San Francisco would be a team. Detroit, maybe. I don't think so, but a lot of people think Detroit's going to take a quarterback. So would Detroit want to go from 7 to 4? Sure, why not? They have draft capital. It'll be interesting. If Carolina really likes Jones, then trade back and get him. I don't have a problem with that. The mark that I would look at would be 17. You don't want to you have to trade somewhere between 5 and 16. You want to stay ahead of Washington. And then you also have to be careful because Washington falls in love with the kid. They may be willing to trade up a few picks. Did Donald get 20? Yeah, Donald did get 20. Now, okay, Donald doesn't play a 5 technique. Donald plays it's kind of weird because even though he's in a 3-4, he doesn't play a 0 technique. He plays what's okay. God, this is going to be, I don't know if I can make it short enough, but he plays a nose tackle, but it's in a 3-4. See, in the type of defense they play, there's a nose tackle, a defensive tackle, and an end. He plays nose tackle. It would basically be a standard defensive tackle in a 4-3. He doesn't play a 5 technique. I actually thought when the Rams were switching to a 3-4, they'd have to trade Donald, but no, they just used Donald. And actually, with Donald, they kind of move him around. He plays in a variety of different positions, but he plays a defensive tackle. He's not 5 technique. Reggie White early in his career played a 5 technique, but then he moved to defensive end. And don't get me wrong, I mean, White can do the same thing, but no, different players. But to answer your question, yes, he did get 20. He got 20 twice, I think. I'm guessing the Texans are going to go for tackles this draft, maybe with the release of Watt. We are under the cap, though, I guess, and maybe that's why. And I haven't had a chance, and maybe if you can answer this, are they going to switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3? That's a big question. Blacklock, if you switch to a 4-3, I think it would be a perfect tackle. If you're playing a 3-4, he just replaces Watt and you move forward because he wasn't your 0 technique to begin with. He wasn't your defensive tackle. So I don't know what you're going to do defensively. If you're going to go to a 3-4, Blacklock replaces Watt, and you could draft no technique. But I think that what I would do is in the 3rd round, just take the best player available. It doesn't matter what position he plays. You can take the best player available if he's a quarterback. Yeah, quarterback who drops all the way down, fine, do it. And he did have Sue next to him. He did have Sue. I think he did twice. I may be wrong about that. Now, if they offered One Pride 40's talking about the idiotic Redskins fan. Yeah, if you had the 17th and the 128th plus the number 1 in 2022, you absolutely may do it because you'll have 3 picks in 2022. So if you get the quarterback, if you fall in love with golf, great, keep them. If not, then you have all sorts of fun for the next year. So, 31, Dan. I'm going to tell you what, if we do get some Cowboys fans on here, I will. I mean, within certain rules and regulations, but I'll let you. I'll let any Cowboys fans who comes in here. I'm gonna allow a little bit of a freelance. 30 can't stand Bear. Yeah, I don't know. Buddy of mine. I used the word buddy lightly. He was a Bears fan, and he's a douchebag. So, okay. Here's the deal. And this is something that the Houston Texans did. The Houston Texans just said, hey, listen, out of honor and respect for you. Yes, they could have got something. They could have got anything. They didn't play hardball with them. They said, hey, listen, man, you're the greatest player and you gave so much for your organization. We'll just move on. And I thought that was a classy move by the Texans. And it's the start of the Texans building something, I hopefully really good. I mean, when you got a young quarterback like Deshaun Watson, you got Merciless, those 2 linebackers on the inside, love them both. Reggie Ruby, pretty good corner. They need some help. They need some help, but they got some really good pieces on defense. Ross Blacklock, I loved that out of the draft last year. So. Final answer of teams we can stand are 30. No Cowboys. You know what? I want teams from all 32 fan bases, but Cowboys fans, I'll allow a little more rope. We don't have any yet. So I don't know what the name means. I know it's awesome. I love it. I just don't know what it means. And God, am I really this far behind? So, but if you move back, I'm taking Barmore. I don't know who Barmore is off the top of my head. I got a lot of work to do on Pride 40. You know your college football. So I mean, when I release my Lions video, I really want to hear what you have to say. I don't know what the name is. So let's call him okay. I can't do the name Funk. I know you love the dude. Here's what I heard is that 5'11", 215. I heard 5'11", 215. But if he ends up being 6'1", 220 and he runs under 4.5, Detroit may take him at 7. No lie. Detroit, he may go 7. I heard 5'11", 215. So that's going to be interesting. Because I heard that the problem is that he's safety size. He's one of those new hybrid type players. That's why you can't take him at 7. But if he's 225 and cracks 4.5, Detroit may take him at 7. I think he's that good. So we couldn't realistically trade Watt. He's declining, has a huge contract. No team's taking the contract. No, there would have been a team that would probably take the contract. There would have maybe been a team. Maybe. I'm saying if. I think a team would have. But I think the Houston Texans did a very smart thing and just saying, hey, we're good. Parsons is the Penn State player, and he may not go. The story with him is that, excuse me, I'm sorry. He was involved in a lot of incidents off field, but apparently he got accused of sandusking a teammate. Let's use this word here, and hopefully I don't get banned. No penetration, but it was out. I think a lot of teams he's off the board completely. I actually don't think he goes before round 4. I think Parsons, because there was other issues, and then he also didn't play. But I know that he's probably, if he's allowed to have a pro day, he'll have a phenomenal. He may have the best pro day of any college player, but when there's multiple problems and it's that bad, I don't think he's going round 1. I really don't. JOK is the easily most well-rounded linebacker in the draft. Okay. I don't disagree with that. I just want to know he can't be 5'11", 215. He can't be 215. It could if his measurements and time is good at his pro day, there's a very good chance Detroit takes him at 7. Davion Nixon, if I move back to Cornerstone DT or start a rebuild, I'm not sure which one Nixon is. Who's the defensive end out of Michigan? That's a guy I've been seeing almost every first round or every mock draft. He's been appearing in the first round. If Detroit trades back, that's a guy I would circle. And I can't remember. I can't think of his name. So let's say if we take Lance, are you thinking receiver in the second round? If Galladay is gone, probably, but you may want to double down on. You may want to go defense. It's going to be. It's just going to be best player available. It's just going to be best player available. But you're going to take multiple positions. The one thing that I can almost promise you is Detroit's going to pick multiple players on the front 7. That's the issue that I see, is that you want to wait and do that in round 3 or 4 or free agency. It's really going to be, is there a wide receiver that you have a first round grade on and he drops through? The whole Galladay situation, it has to come through. So I don't see us taking Surtain. I have a man crush on Surtain, so that's why I think he could go 7. James, you're divorced, man, dude. Why are we in the Midwest where it's freezing? Let's hit Vegas. We'll get a cool place. It'll be awesome, man. It'll be awesome. Yeah, dude. Why are we here? Let's do it. We need Tylan Wallace in the second. If he is available, I would not have a problem with that, with or without Galladay. If he's available. I haven't watched a lot of Surtain as any good in zone coverage. They didn't really use him that much in zone coverage, more man. I will admit a lot of my love affair with him is because his dad was one of my all-time favorite players, came to Kansas City and played really, really good. So being a fan of Surtain Senior makes me love Surtain Junior or Surtain too. But I've heard a lot of people say a lot of different things. I've heard some people say he's a top 10 player easily. Some people have him as corner 4 or 5. A lot of people feel like he was part of the Alabama process, and he wasn't really that great of a player. I probably have him ranked too high because I loved his dad. But that's just me. He played a lot of man. He played on an NFL-style defense, played against SEC caliber talent, and played like a guy who was considerably head and shoulders better than most. That's what I see. If you talk to somebody else, you may hear somebody say second round. I think that he will. I think he's going to go top 15, maybe top 10, maybe as high as 7 at Detroit. I think that highly of him, but I might be in a minority. But I also loved. I absolutely loved him. I loved his dad in the NFL, so that's probably a lot of what I have to say. So I felt like the loss in the Super Bowl is both the Chiefs and the refs' fault, but you're too optimistic about the Texans organization. Here's the deal with the referees in the Super Bowl. I'm a Chiefs fan, so if I blame the refs, I look like a homer, but I was really surprised at halftime, before the halftime show. I normally skip the halftime show when I watch football, but I wanted to watch this one. I also wanted to, I'm not a big music guy, but I thought The Weeknd would put on a great show. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great. I mean, I didn't think it was like, one of the greatest of all time. I heard a lot of people say it sucked. I was like, no, I don't see that. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I was really surprised that at halftime, I've never heard. Now, I keep in mind, I usually skip halftime shows, so I don't listen to as many. But I was really surprised that they were like, yeah, this is one-sided. So, I mean, like, I've seen a lot of people on social media that didn't have a dog in the fight that just felt that the same thing. Was it what cost the Chiefs? No, it wasn't what cost the Chiefs at all. It was those 2 timeouts. They go into halftime 14-6, maybe a whole new different thing. But the reason why I thought the Super Bowl was over when it was 21-6 is that you made the Chiefs one-sided, which normally isn't a bad thing with Mahomes, but you have this terrible offensive line with one of the best front sevens in football. And I remember the over-under girl, for those of you that follow me, put out who has the best defense out of like the remaining 8 teams. And everybody kept on saying Green Bay. I said Tampa, and I was like, how are people saying Green Bay's defense is better than Tampa's? Tampa's easily got the best front 7 by head and shoulders better than everybody else. I don't get it. And, I think I was right. I think I was right. So I don't think I'm too optimistic, and I'll tell you why. You have a top 5 quarterback and a lot of defensive talent, and I think that I think once everything kind of moves forward, you're going to get a free agent or two that's really going to change your mind. So, yeah. Denver Gator, dude, I'm so down for Vegas. Was there last March. Got spanked by a midget. It was one of the last flights. Oh, man. All right, so Denver Gator, me and James, we're going to get 3 of us. We should get a pimp house down in Vegas, like a 4-bedroom house, plenty of blowing hookers, and I'll have to delete that. So I said plenty of Kleenexes and girls is what I said. So yes. So Denver Gator and James and I are down for Vegas. So that's awesome. One Pride 40, I agree, at least hearing the Lions speak about the roster. What was it? Oh, the Tylan Wallace. Or no, okay, yeah. Yeah, I love Surtain, and I've been like, why you guys need another corner. The other guy you got, the guy with 15 letters in his name, I think he's just the guy. But I mean, if you don't go quarterback, you're going to go defense. You're not going to pick an offensive lineman. I feel safe about that. I mean, let's see. Actually, let me ask you this: How would you feel about? I'm going to use the word tight end in quotes. How do you feel about Kyle Pitts going to Detroit at 7? Welcome, man, to the Friday after the Chiefs loss. This is my boy Chad. Chad was out of town, got a great deal on ammo. Why does he get a great deal on ammo? I need 9mm, Chad. You don't. But man, I'm glad you joined in, man. Glad you joined in, man. Man, glad you're here, man. Sorry, man. It sucks I have to work tomorrow because I was hoping to hang out, man. But lived in St. Pete for 13 years. Great fan base in sports. If you thought the Super Bowl parade was cool, out Gasparilla parade, everyone. Really? So okay. Well, the company I work for, they have headquarters here, less than 10 minutes away from this actual location. Excuse me, and in Tampa Bay. And apparently, in the fall, I would be able to transfer, and it's supposedly pretty easy. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So sound is great. Yeah, my speakers don't work. When I did the factory reboot, I didn't get the speakers to work. There's still an upgrade that has to happen, but when I did the upgrade, the whole computer died. I'm using the word died. So I have to figure out a way to get the upgrade to push through. I like Tylan Wallace, but if you get him in the third, I'm thinking Terrace Marshall or Rondé Moore in the second. Moore is interesting because he's got first round talent, but he's banged up, and I think he's going to measure at like 5'8", which is questionable. But oh god, I love Moore. I think there's a video of him like jumping, I want to say like 46 or something ridiculous. So the sound is, AL says the sounds. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that. So I apologize about the sound. But when one of these days I want to upgrade computers, it's just that there are so many problems I have. I really can't afford a computer problem. I can't afford to buy a new computer because when I do upgrade my computer equipment, I'm going to upgrade. I mean, I'm going to get some Apple stuff. I'm going to get some high dollar stuff when I upgrade my electronics. I'm not going to get a cheap computer. So Boofa's texting me. It's good. Okay, I'm going to turn I forgot my phone up. So thanks for letting me know, Boofa. But I apologize. But when I do upgrade, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to spend some money on equipment. Just today, right now, I was like, oh God, I can't buy a new computer. Because when I do buy a new computer, I'm going to put down some cash. I'm going to buy something good. When I do upgrade, I'm going to upgrade with some good stuff. Wallace could go in the first, but yeah, I don't see him going to the third. If you guys got Rondale Moore at what would that be, 39? God, I don't know, man. The Virginia Tech left tackle. Okay, he's the guy who the Broncos guy wanted the Broncos to pick at 9, and I'm like, Denver's not picking a left tackle. Come on. And I don't think you tell me what. Do you really? Let me ask you something. Do you really want to pick a left tackle at 7? Really? If Moore can stay healthy, he's going to be a superstar. If Moore can stay healthy, he's going to be a superstar. Marshall, I think, needs more work than Moore. That's my opinion. Moore, I saw the game where Purdue beat Ohio State, and Moore had like 3 touchdowns, and he made Ohio State look like a JV defense. I'm like, oh my God. But he can't stay healthy. That's the problem. Marshall's got tools, but the one thing I hear is that disinterested in blocking, and that really raises a red flag to me. It really raises a red flag to me because there's a difference with anytime I hear just disinterested, when you hear that word in a scouting report, that really scares me. But I'll tell you what, if he goes to Kansas City at the end of round 2, I'd be happy. I'm talking Marshall. Moore I don't think will last. I wouldn't mind Moore either. I think Moore will go before Marshall, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I like Wallace, but I prefer Moore in the second. It's kind of a flavor thing. Wallace is bigger, more physical. I think health is a big issue. Moore, if you can tell me Moore's going to stay healthy, I wouldn't have a problem taking him first round below 20, 20, 22, 23 somewhere. I love Moore, but health's a big thing. You can't stay healthy in college. Are you going to stay healthy in the NFL? Glasgow from Detroit is your okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right. Yeah. So your offensive line's set. You're not going to take a tackle at 9. That's what drives me nuts. Is that any journalist who looks at Denver and says, well, "Let's pick offensive line." Are you guys high? I know it's legal there, but I mean, come on. Yeah, you probably watched more Purdue than I have, but I watched that game where they beat Ohio State, and he had 3 touchdowns. I was like, oh, my God. And he just couldn't stay healthy. But, like, when healthy, oh, my God. Yeah. I think a team's going to roll the dice on him early second round. I think there'll be a team early second round. Could be Detroit. So. Like I said, I think you're too optimistic about my Texans until Esterby is gone. The team isn't going to be good. I expect them to crash the bed. Heard Esterly is still heavily involved in football operations. Every player should request a trade to push management to fire the man. Until then, we must not buy. Wow. With Alex, I'm gonna just for fun, I'm just going to kind of argue with you and just tell you that things will get better. Things will get better. I think teams that have a top 5 quarterback and a very good left tackle are already ready, are already good to go. Okay. They're already good to go. So you're okay, man. You have those spots and you have talent on defense. I think Philly goes wide receiver 1, pride 40. I don't disagree. I'm doing the video soon, so I don't want to ruin it. But I don't disagree with you. What's Philly need? They need a wide receiver. Well, do they go quarterback? Let me throw that out there. If I was the Jets, I would take Sewell or trade back. The one thing about Sewell, number one, Mekhi Becton was their first round pick, and I thought he was their best player last year. They put him in at left tackle. I thought he would be a right tackle. The Jets put him at left side, and he played great. So you don't need a left tackle. Sewell, now some people say he's 6'6", but all season he was 6'3", which leads me to believe that he's a better guard or center, which doesn't mean that you would take him with a top 5 pick. The most common mock that makes sense to me is AL. I'm sorry, I get Atlanta picks 4th. I'm sorry, I got those mixed up. My bad. I think Sewell is going to fall in the draft because I think he'll end up being 6'3". Now, if he's 6'4" or 6'5", he'll be a franchise left tackle. But I keep seeing 6'3", so you got to move him inside. And I don't think he's elite. I think he does some things very well, but I think he's a guy who's going to end up moving inside in the NFL. You don't pick him in the top 5. The Jets have their left tackle. So they're not going to draft at 2. They're not going to take an offensive lineman. And this is a good draft for offensive line. Sewell's a guy I think is going to fall in this draft. I think he's going to fall. I think 10. Dallas I think picks 10th. I think that's the first spot you're going to see Sewell. The Jets have already talked about trading Darnold. So if they trade Darnold, they're going to take a quarterback. So. Roisha, Roy, what's up, girl? Roy, yeah, I know. I'm sporting a red too. I'll sport the red too. Roy's my girl. I love you, girl. She's got a thing for me, by the way. She's got a crush on me. You know why? Because she's got 2 eyes. I love you. I'm glad you're here. You ain't wrong, Pride. He found the. I forgot about Tremaine Edmonds. With the Buffalo linebacker. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure what you're going with from there because I love Tremaine Edmonds, one of my favorite players. So, Green Bay's new DC, Joe Barry. Okay, that's right, Joe Barry. So, if I remember right, he's going to go with he's going to stay with the 3-4 if I remember right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're right. Was he any good? Barry or if I remember right, he's okay. I like Mike Pettin. I didn't think he should have been fired, but I get why he was. I think it was a wrong move, but we'll find out. I'm sorry. I keep on I keep on getting Atlanta and Carolina mixed up. My bad. I'm sorry. Boof is in the house. That 0-16 team, didn't they run a 4-3? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's not good. Prediction for Wentz this year. I still think Indianapolis. I heard Chicago, but I still think Indy. I still think Indy. But that's my opinion. I've heard Chicago, and it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Bears. It really wouldn't surprise me if he goes to the Bears. I don't think he wants to be in Philly. I don't think he wants to be in Philly, and I don't blame him. I took a shot at Eagles fans. So they really just inverted the Bears all offense. Well, the defensive coordinator, I don't know who it is. Chuck Pagano retired. The defense is still really good in Chicago. The Bears kind of got an interesting situation on offense, what they want to do. They have to figure out what they want to do at quarterback and with Allen Robinson. So that's Joe Barry. And I don't know if that's an improvement, man. I think he goes to the Bears. It wouldn't surprise me, but if right now I think Indy, but Mac Jones could go to New England at 15. I was thinking the same thing because I'm sorry, I'm really behind. I was thinking the same thing, Funk, but the one common thing about New England is that they seem to throw curveballs at you. So that's the Saban, Belichick. I mean, these guys go way back these guys go way, 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 way back. So these guys have known each other for, I want to say over 40 years. So I get it, but New England's always been kind of creative in the draft. And I also think they like Cam Newton. So they could, but I don't think so. New England's team always kind of gets a little confusing. But yeah, currently I'm going to say no. But the statements Mac Jones could go New England. Absolutely he could. So I'm really fucking behind. So I'm sorry, guys. Now Bryce Young from Bama. We are now talking. Sorry. The draft has at least 5 day one tackles. I think you're right. Am I going to do? No, I'm not going to do a live. Okay, let me refer. I'm not planning on it. I'm going to do a Wednesday live stream, and I'm going to do a mock draft, and I'd love to get everybody involved. So, Nick Foles and Wentz on the same team again. James is still under contract, paid too much for like 100 snaps. No way the Broncos get a tackle on first. Farley, Surtain, or even JOK. For Philly at 6. JOK at Philly at 6. No. James is still okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Jaron James is under. Yeah, they gave, what was the signing bonus, like 35? You tell me. Yeah, me and you are on the same page about the Broncos. That your buddy, I don't. Yeah. So I like 20-year-olds, Dan. They want me. We're going to work on your game, Mike. We're going to work on your game. We let them know that we got money, but they got to do something. But yeah, we'll get you some 20-year-olds, Mike. Campbell's coaching staff it is. So far the team that's winning. It's got the best positive guideline. I would say it's the Detroit Lions. 7:50. Oh, I'm a half an hour. I am so sorry, guys. I know I was a half an hour behind. So talk about teams you can't stand talking with. No one even mentioned the Patriots. Come on. So Patriots, Bears, and Cowboys. Okay. He's not going 7, but a lot of teams really love that kid. Flashed in a championship game. It's weird. I go to Dallas and I can't find a Cowboys fan yet. They're all over everywhere. Chad said, "Yeah, Chad's picking on me." Yeah, I know. I think Chad is an asshole also. So yeah. Pats fans about ready to get true smack around. They did this year. They did. I put action on them over 9, but yeah. Parsons is all downhill, dude. I'm not joking. I think 4th round, maybe goes undrafted. Maybe goes undrafted. Don't get me wrong. I like JOK, but I might just wait until the 3rd and take Cox. I could see that. You're going to pick multiple players to go in your front 7. You're going to pick multiple players in this draft. So don't get me wrong. Quiddy Payne, that's the okay. How would you, Lions fans, Quiddy Payne at 7? Local kid? You need a pass rusher. I like Jabril Cox last year before he transferred. I like him as a player. I want to see what he runs. It'll be a big difference as you go 4th, 5th, or I think highest he could go would be late. Highest he would go would be mid-2nd, and he's got ace to combine or pro day. You know. Hey, one pride, not sure what you asked me. I'm sorry, I am really behind, guys. That's my fault. I think Galladay has gone. Wow, he's already turned down 16. Okay, that means you're probably going to draft a receiver or try to get somebody cheaper in free agency. And off the top of my head, I don't know who. I would. You ideally would like somebody like Allen Robinson, but Allen Robinson's going to a lot of money. What about the Pats? So you have the Lions go 3 straight Bisons, take Lance, reduce it. I mean, it'd be funny. I don't think it'll happen, but I mean, it'd be funny. I mean, they're all positions in need. So I mean, but listen to Campbell's press conference, I was like, "Yep, players are going to love this dude, and free agents will come here." Detroit's still a hard sell for free agents, but I think they've done everything right so far to make Detroit more appealing. Done everything right so far. One pride, yeah. Okay. So will he take 16 now? Maybe. Oh, Boston fans. Yeah. He's going to command that funk. I'm trying to get down so I'm not 25 minutes behind, Chad. Oh, Pats fans, no. Bears fans are tough. Tony Romo said the Chiefs are all. I'm not. I know he was, and I'm not saying the Chiefs weren't, but they're able to get away with it. And how do you get away with it all season, all playoffs, and then you get to the Super Bowl and, oh yeah, now it's going to be different. So if it was called that heavy in the first playoff game against Cleveland, then I won't have a problem with it. But it wasn't. So yeah. But did the refs cost the Chiefs the game? No, they didn't. Andy, if it's 14-6, there's a good chance the Chiefs come back and win because they go down 14-9. It's different. Even 21-9 is different than 28-9. 28-9, you have to pass. 21-9, you can still run the ball. You can still do a lot of different things. So yeah. He's the left tackle. Oh, never mind. It's right there. But I want the Oregon defensive end in 20. I do not know who that is. I'm sorry, One Pride 40. Ammo does love you, Chad. Ammo. If I didn't owe you 2 boxes and $4.50, I would come on, Chad. He'll give me a couple boxes. So, but I'm in the red. So who's ready for plays look at Cox penetration? Oh God, this is the statement of the night goes to Denver Gator. Look for Cox penetration. The rest made it easier for the Bucks to score. Our defense was low energy. Reed and Bieniemy failed to adjust. Yeah, everything you're saying is correct. I mean, but everything you're saying is correct, Mike. Everything you're saying is correct. But I knew once Reed got out coached by himself that it was game over. So yeah. Dan, I have Pitts as my number one offensive weapon, so I'd be okay with it. Top 4 gone. Yeah. I debate between Pitts and Chase. I need to know how they both test. But they're like neck and neck for my number one offensive weapon. If you could get either one of them at 7, you probably go that way and skip quarterback for this year. They should have gone all out West Coast 3 steps and throw, but they kept on one going deep. Yeah, the offense was out of sync. There's not a short answer to what I'm telling you, Mike, but the problem that they had with that type of offense was they just weren't able to run it. And it sounds there's not a short answer for this, Mike, but they were running the offense the best they could with the offensive line situation. Normally a three-step drop sounds better, but you have to have the offensive line more in sync. I know that didn't even make any sense. And maybe you're right. But I think with a healthy offensive line, the Chiefs easily win this game. I say easily because I'm talking Schwartz. And that's the biggest problem I have with Kansas City repeating is that what's the offensive line situation going to be like for next year? You're probably going to have that Louis Nang kid is probably going to start either on the left or the right side. And he sat out for the whole year. So what do you got? So, yeah. Who's the tackle from? I don't know his name. And yike, I might pass on Marshall. Terrence Marshall. Well, you're not getting him in round 1. I can tell you that. So, Michael, there was nothing you could do to the Chiefs. It wasn't slaughter. It was. It really was. It really was. But I will say this, Mike. The Chiefs' offensive line was in horrible shape. If it was in better shape, if it was the shape, if we had the same offensive line we had against Buffalo, maybe we win. Maybe. But when Andy Reid got out coached by himself, I knew it was game over. And that front 7, and here's the thing with Tampa Bay is that the secondary is very young. The front 7 is so good. And then you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You have great weapons. So, yeah. Instead of Moore, I would take Dwayne Eskridge, wide receiver from Western Michigan. I do like Eskridge, and you don't have the health issues. So, Moore's easily more talented. Big statement. Because I did a mock draft, and I had Eskridge going to Kansas City in round 1 just for fun. I want to see, but yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. If Moore runs like 4.35 and Eskridge runs 4.45, then I would say Moore. But you got one guy that doesn't have injury issues. But yeah, I love Eskridge too. I have a man crush on Moore, but you're not wrong. I do. I do too. I don't know where you draft them because of injury issues, but when healthy, you're looking at somebody who's like Tyreek Hill. Hey, Dan, just so you can sleep tonight, Adolf Hitler's a Rook. Oh, it's a Rick and Morty character. I never got into Rick and Morty. I never got into it, even though I love Back to the Future. I had some coworkers that told me it was like this great show. I watched like part of it and like the part of like the first episode, I'm like, what the fuck? Do I have to be high to watch this? And so I couldn't get into it. If you lose Galladay, maybe, but your front 7's more of a priority. Back triple dip. I have a man crush on Amari Rodgers and Powell from Clemson. Both those guys are good. Both those guys are good. Maybe I have some trash talk. They could have slowed the Bucks down some. The entire game was one big up, not to mention the refs in the first half until New York called and said it was hurting. Dan, I love how you defend the Texans and give hope while I'm saying here. I 100% believe that they have a bright hope because the two most important things that an NFL team needs is quarterback and left tackle, and you have Pro Bowlers in both. That's a fact. So Mike versus Michael. Refs, sour grapes, they could have had Superman and still lost. Oh my. Mike versus Michael. Two of my favorite guys. Work on Mike's game you're teaching. You know they can't say those who can't do teach. So as long as there's love here, guys, because both Mikes are two of my favorite people here. I feel Sheila may be different. Well, everything she's doing is different, and it's phenomenal. Yeah. There are two players I believe the Texans will go for is offensive line and wide. It's kind of funny, Alex. I think those will be addressed in free agency, and I think they'll go with defense on the draft. But we'll find out. I'm spoiled. Years ago, after a completion, a lady said to me, "Wow, you should be paid," and I replied, "Don't let me stop." Mike's awesome. I got the two Mikes arguing with each other, which is awesome. So both Mikes are awesome. Both Mikes are awesome. So serious question: will Lions fans back off and still root for Stafford? Hey, Lions fans, yeah, I want to hear from you. I think they only back off if they start winning, but if they end up being a 4-12 team, which I think they will be, then the answer is no. So, Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm scrolling up here. That name sounds familiar. So, I've met Sheila and Marthel, even Edsel. Trust me when I say Sheila's not her parents. She has a completely different vibe about her while still being humble. Those are all good things. Those are all good things. Stafford part, absolutely. Denverly, I personally root for the logo on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. I want to see Stafford feel. I'll tell you what. I don't see. Right now. I don't see the Rams being close to Tampa Bay. Now, if Tampa Bay loses Levante David, then yeah, close. But even if Tampa Bay versus the Rams right now, take Levante David and just move him out. So move Levante David away from Tampa Bay. Is Tampa Bay still better than the Rams? Yeah. I think a touchdown better. I think they're that much better. I really do. The Rams need some work, man. The Rams are a 10-6 team that with Stafford, I think maybe give them an extra win. But I mean, they're not that good. So I don't think it's going to be horrible, but I think Rams are thinking, hey, we made Super Bowl, and they're going to be very disappointed. So Paris Ford for Detroit with Cox in the third. That's almost a dirty word. It's almost dirty. Wait, I meant O-line, not D-line. It's actually funny. I guess I could see that, but I really think that you're going to fix up everything on the offensive side of the ball with free agency. I think that you're going to use your free agency on offense and use your draft for defense. That's kind of what I see. But ultimately, when you're drafting in the third round, that's your first draft pick. You're going to take best player available regardless. Isaac, what's up, brother? Isaac, I know you're crushed by the Super Bowl. It's okay. Everybody here is upset. But, man, it's great to hear from you, man. Great to hear from you. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up pretty fast here. The joke was aimed at Dan's lack of game. Thanks, Mike. So I didn't even catch it. That's how oblivious I am. Me and Mike actually hang out. Me and Buffa. Me and Buffa hang out. It's funny. My last girlfriend loved Buffa. So it was funny. She's like, I love Mike. He sang to me. He's so great. Mike. She called me Buffa during sex at least 3 times. Actually, I made that up. Maybe I didn't, Mike. But the true story though, my last girlfriend loved Buffa. She really did. She loved them. NGL, Paris, Ford, and Cox would be awesome in the third. No arguments. You need some work on that front seven. I don't know if I got a response. The pay, whatever, the defensive end out of Michigan. How would you feel if he went 7th? How would you feel? Draft capital. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I don't know why that went over my head. It's the energy drink because I'm jacked up and I'm going to drink coffee. I'm going to wrap this up, by the way. I'm almost at the bottom. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This was a great show. This after the week I had, I'm so grateful that you guys were able to come on. We're able to talk football. If I can get everything to work with my computer, I will probably postpone it till next Monday, but there's still a small chance I'll get my first 3 videos out this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. More than likely, I'll probably do the first one over the weekend and just kind of hold off. But I want to get as many videos. I basically for the next couple months, it's going to be basically all draft, all free agency stuff, and ultimately whatever you want to talk about. Anything you guys want to talk about, we talk about. I can't thank you guys enough for joining on the show because I can sit here and I can talk football for hours on end. But you guys are what's great about the show, not me. I just look awesome in the hat. That's all. So don't forget, give me a thumbs up. I'm going to get through the rest of these here. Yeah, you guys are busting my balls here. So Isaac says, let Russ go. Actually, I'm glad nobody talked about Russell Wilson being traded because he's not going anywhere. Mike is rubbing it into us who are here in single-digit temperature because Mike is awesome. Mike's going to be going to what are you going next weekend? I forgot when you said you're going to his baseball games. So, by the way, everybody follow me on social media. Mike, I don't think you follow me on social media, but if you do pick a social media platform and you do go to FAU, can you tag me in some pictures or show me some pictures? If you don't, that's cool too. But I'd love to. I've heard the campus is awesome. That's why. Pretty sure she still loves Buffa. That's awesome. Okay. I wanted to know, Funk. I wouldn't want them either. I'm just asking. How do you feel about the Rams next year? They were 10-16. I think they're 11-5, and depending on Seattle and how they're going to attack the offseason. But right now, I think that they're just a good team. They're just a good team. I think they're significantly worse than Tampa Bay. So anybody who thinks that the Rams are a Super Bowl team, no. I think they're 10-11 win team. That's what I think. That's what I think, 10-11 win team. They have some problems in the offensive line. Even though the defense was good, they lost the defensive coordinator, so you can't count on that great defense. Their running backs are good, not great. I know towards the end of the season, was it Akers looked really, really good. Guy I really like. I don't think he's a superstar in this league. Problems on the offensive line. So yeah. Buffa is telling me my ex-girlfriend. Mike, yeah. I love this guy. Mike's a great guy. Yeah. I haven't not yet. It's high of 26. Damn. It's cold everywhere, man. Yeah, we do. They lost Pleasant to us. Oh, okay. Anthony Pleasant. Okay. Oh, yeah. Keep in mind, there's going to be several players that go from the Rams to Detroit, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So, on that note, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you guys very much for joining. More than likely, it'll be next Monday, but there is a possibility to get the draft videos out. If I do get a draft video out or a couple of them, please let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. Hey, see you guys next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. Thank you very much for joining. I'll see you next week.